Okay, we're live. I'm Joshua Kemble, and this is my live stream. I am all sorts of discombobulated, but I've managed to finish the pencils and inks for page, let's see here, page 21 of Not Death But Love, The Strange Mysterious Case of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which is the historical fiction graphic novel that I've been working on during my live streams. And so I'm really excited about the progress. I have to be trying to do about 6 of these pages this weekend. So this is going to put me about a 12th of the way through what I need to achieve by the end of tomorrow, by basically 2 a.m. tomorrow. But I feel pretty good about it. So what we're gonna do is I'll let you guys know a little bit about me for about a minute, and then we're gonna get into flat coloring the page, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. You guys saw the roughs and the thumbnails of this page, and so it's gonna be really fun to kind of try to bust through it and do real quick flats. All right, so I am Joshua Kemble. I've been a freelance illustrator and graphic designer for about 20 years now. And then when I'm not doing graphic design or illustration, am often working on comic books like, oh, and I've been an art director for like 8 years. When I'm not working on that stuff, I'm working on comics like Jacob's Apartment, which is a coming of age story about two characters, Jacob and Sarah, finding their identity seeking their identity amid the kinds of questions that can challenge even the strongest of faith. And it's like, I guess the best description of it is if you took Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind and Ghost World and put them in a blender, and you like that sort of flavor of story, this comic would be for you. It's 130 very lovingly drawn pages, or 100. Hold on. I'm blanking out on the page count, guys. It's been a long week. It's 132 pages, I think, but full color, hand inked and illustrated, and I'm very, very fond of that. And then the last thing I have to mention before we get into creating is Two Stories, which is my autobiographical comic about faith and mental illness. That's hand lettered, hand inked, and handed to you on Amazon. So Jacob's Apartment, you can request at any bookstore. They should be able to carry it, or you can order it through Amazon. And then Two Stories, definitely order through Amazon for a discounted rate. Or both books, you can ask your local comic shop to carry them. Two Stories is distributed by Ingram, and then Jacob's Apartment is distributed through Diamond, so it should be accessible, especially Jacob's Apartment should be accessible at bookstores anywhere you go. All right, so we're going to jump into it without further ado and kind of get into working. And then I want to talk a little bit about my schedule, because I actually today, I pride myself in being a person who, well, you know what? Let's get into it in a second. Hold on. Okay, so if you guys are new to the stream, just so you know, like over here is where I will be working on colors. We're going to just knock through it. I'm going to pull up previous pages. So this is page 21. I'm going to pull up previous pages, probably to reference mainly for the color of the father of Elizabeth's dad. And then I think other than that, like all of these colors, it's kind of nice, but it's a new room, so I think we can actually kind of get away with the colors being a little different. But it wouldn't hurt to kind of reference previous pages. So anyhow, let's get into it real quick, and I'll start setting up the colors, and then I will talk. I'm going to try to talk while working, and we'll see. So I have this crazy kind of, and this isn't meant to be like a complaint or anything like that. It's just, I have a really crazy deadline. I have to knock out pages on a time frame that, is a little more than I'm used to. And it's not unachievable, but what's happened in the last week is I've kind of started losing track of time a little bit. And I unfortunately, like today, I was hoping to be on, I had even agreed to be on Gary's channel, and I think I might have even mentioned it on on this show, where I had agreed to be on Gary Hodges' stream in the morning, and then I completely lost track of it. I hadn't added it to my calendar, and so and I pride myself as somebody who does not flake. Like if I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be there. And it kind of bums me out because I literally dropped the ball on that, and I already apologized to Gary. We're going to try for next week. So next Saturday, I've added it to the calendar this time so that I won't forget. But hopefully, Gary and I will be able to have a really cool conversation about like death and comics and how those two interweave. But in the meantime, I felt terrible. I've especially when it comes to my comic stuff, I rarely kind of like will blow a deadline or miss something that I agree to do. And I still feel bad, and I will just tell Gary again. I know Gary was like totally cool about it, but still I feel bad about it. So yeah, so that's basically that. That kind of catches us up on that. And now we're going to get into flat coloring, and I'm just going to try to kind of knock through these. I need to find the previous pages where the father was shown, and then we'll kind of see. I've also been having some issues with my Wacom tablet. I'm not sure if it's the new OS on Mac. I'd be curious, like, if anybody joins the stream who's working on Macs, if they've noticed like kind of a weird sort of disconnect between the Wacom drivers and the computer. But yeah, so that's been an interesting kind of challenge to go through. Right now, what I'm doing is going through previous pages to try to find. There we go. Okay, we have the father. This is good. This is what we needed. So this is page, well, we'll find out. Page 14. So we've already drawn this father figure, and I think we're going to keep him in a similar costume. And we might even have some of the same colors. But for now, I'm going to, I think I'll fill out and shade. Let's see here. For now, let's knock out all the white. Edit. Fill color. Wait, why am I saying edit fill color? Just shift F5. Yeah, there's already a pretty big delay on my computer. So again, like we'll sort of see. I'm gonna try to do this stream because I do like doing these streams for everybody. And I also get a kick out of doing these streams. We'll just kind of have to see how things go. Because if this starts causing delays or whatever, like I might have to just kind of do this off stream. Okay, so we're gonna just call one of the layers color fill, and then we've already established that I've set up like the white areas. I've locked the transparent pixels, and now it's just a matter of kind of deselecting. Wow, I'm seeing the pinwheel when I hit save. That's very strange. Okay, so now my goal, wow, okay, again, this is very strange, but yeah, okay, so now my goal is basically going to be to go through and deselect all the white areas. I think for this character, we're going to have, Elizabeth's sister, I've decided to make blonde or like really light brown hair because she looks a lot like Elizabeth when it's drawn out. And I don't want people getting confused. So I am using the old different colored hair trick, which I think is probably overused quite a lot. But their template is so similar because they're sisters that I think it's going to be ideal to kind of vary the hair color more than it probably was historically, but just for the sake of clarity and storytelling. She has definitely got like, I believe this is like a white blouse that has these kind of interesting clasps around the wrists and was based on the references that we had looking up. And we're just going to kind of move through and sort of deselect these things. But I'm feeling pretty good. It's like midday on Saturday. I don't usually do morning or midday streams. Every once in a while, I do. On Saturdays, quite often, if I'm gonna do a stream, it's usually like much earlier or later than this. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone shows up to this. But I am planning on kind of continuing to put out content and do live streams whenever I'm able, because I enjoy it. I enjoy the community. I enjoy the feedback. I also enjoy just the format of video as like a form of somewhat like journaling and documenting processes. And honestly, I also am going to be doing the work anyway. So it's one of those like things of like there's a lot of wins to doing it. But we'll just kind of have to see how that goes. But I still feel pretty terrible about like missing. I watched Gary's stream about an hour after it ended, and it was excellent. And I really encourage you guys to check out Gary Hodges' channel, Dinosaurs versus Marsbots, Mersbots, and then you know. Hopefully next week, make sure you tune in because like we should be hopefully doing that conversation that I was hoping to have this week, but I was up till like 4 a.m, like drawing this page. Comics are not easy and they take a long time. And then of course I wanted to be kind of detailed in my my backgrounds and stuff like that. So I probably still am gonna need to like somehow up my production level or just sleep less. But I still think it's possible to hit it. I think that at least one page being done today is still relatively like if I'm able to kind of flat this relatively quickly, this is still a pretty significantly faster pace than I have worked so far. So we'll just kind of have to measure it and see how it goes. I think I'm gonna have this as like this clock too. I think is gonna be probably white. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and flat color this clock. And then hopefully these delays aren't affecting the stream. If you guys end up watching this and noticing that there are crazy delays or lags happening on the stream, let me know. My computer is having some mild lags that are a little bit, you know, disconcerting. But my thought is like slam through these flats, and then immediately after this, I'll move on to the next page, and I'll try to live stream as I do the flat colors for these things. And so there's a few things already that I can see are going to be really useful to sort of flat out. I tried to make the type much more legible, and I do believe I kind of succeeded at that. So we'll see what the editor and the writer says. But in general, I feel pretty happy about the legibility of the type. I think the first iteration I was trying to match Elizabeth Barrett Browning's writing style a little bit, which is actually really hard to read. She has a lot of like very tall letters. So the one thing I kind of kept that was pulled from Elizabeth is her way of writing I's, like capital I's. But aside from that, I just did very like large and hopefully easy to read script, which is always a challenge. I think I want to do some stuff. Okay. I was going to say I want to do a few things to kind of clarify, but I think even here, it would be good to just go ahead and get through some of these. So this is all based on the portraits that we looked up. And we are just deselecting these flat areas. Anything that is white, I am trying to basically like get out of the way. And now I'm having another Wacom lag. It's kind of irritating, to be honest. Like I'm hovering my Wacom tablet over this. One thing that's been fixing it, and Gary has joined us. How's it going, Gary? I'm curious if you're noticing like delays on your end or if that's just my laggy computer. I've literally replugged in my Wacom tablet in hopes that it will kind of reinvigorate it because I don't know why it keeps lagging out. But I've noticed this on OS in general. Like maybe I need to do an update or something. But it's like it's a real problem with the Wacom. Like my Wacom driver has just not been happy. And it's not reading that I have a Wacom tablet attached to the computer, which is a little disconcerting. And now it's reading no device connected on my. Oh, there it is. Okay, maybe we've got it back. Do we have it back? Yay, we have a Wacom tablet. Okay. Yeah, honestly, I've talked about this before on here, but it's like computer lags can be one of the bigger annoyances, I think, of doing digital artwork. Like the one thing I will definitely say that's nice about, Two Stories, which I like inked traditionally and stuff like that, is once I was at the inking stage, it was pretty much like guaranteed to work. Yeah, it is directly connected. It's just been like an issue I've noticed with Wacom and the OS. It might just be that my computer's been running like a crazy madman since like, early, I was up till like 4 a.m. working on this thing, and then I've been working on it, carving at it like all day. So I'm just guessing it might also be that, like where maybe my computer's just tired. It needs a rest. But anyhow, you guys don't need to hear everything about my computer woes. I was just saying it's like it is part of the process of doing art. I don't know. Have you noticed that as an issue? He said it might be time for a reboot to like clear your cache. Yeah, for sure. My cache might be pretty full. Because it is, again, there it goes. It just froze and disconnected from my Wacom. Oh, okay, now it's back. Another thing, see if I have some programs open that I can close real quick. So there's a couple things open that do not need to be open. So I'm going to go ahead and force quit 2. Maybe that'll help. Okay. So we're deselecting all the white areas for the dad. And then I'm looking at these portraits to see, are there any areas of this that are going to be white? I think the mom here is going to be wearing a white dress. And my hope is just to get through these flats as quickly as possible. I am pretty sure the figure here is actually wearing white as well. Okay. And then is Elizabeth going to be wearing white? I should look at this portrait again. Hmm. Page. Just checking here. Sorry, guys. It'll take a second. It's more of like just trying to kind of see what we've got here. Okay, I'm just going to find out from page 21. Yeah, it's always fascinating when your computer is just kind of taking its sweet time. Like this is opening a file, so we might have to reboot. Oh, let's see. That's taking way too long to open a file. Like this whole time I've been sitting waiting to open a file. That's very strange. I don't have a lot of like heavy stuff going. Let me see if I need to empty my trash too. And that shouldn't make a big difference, but maybe it will. Okay. So we emptied some trash. Okay. This is our rough that we were working from. I need to find the portrait. There's the creepy kid one. Let's see if I remembered it properly. No, different creepy kid one. Sibling portraits. Aha, they're all wearing white. Okay, that's good to know. And then there's one other. Okay, she's wearing white. Okay, a lot of white. Okay, that's good. So the kids are wearing white. She's wearing white. And I just need to remember that. Okay. So let's get back to this creepy portrait. The kids are wearing white. Definitely got some Haunted Mansion vibes to these portraits. And then he was wearing white, I believe. Good to know that she is wearing white. Yep. She's wearing white with like a red sash kind of thing. So go ahead and mark that. So it's been like a crazy challenging day, just trying to kind of up my game, work a little bit quicker, um, and hit this somewhat insane deadline. But it's also been kind of fun. Like it's an interesting thing, I think, as an artist to kind of challenge yourself. And deadlines are nothing entirely new to me, like they're definitely a reality of working commercially. So it's like I think I'll be able to pull it, but it is going to be a bit ambitious and a little bit close to the wire. Probably closer to the wire than I'd be comfortable with. for this month, you know. But I think again, it's like I don't know. The attempt I think is like well worth it. It's funny with like commercial art too, I think because it's almost approached with a little I don't want to say less care because there is care that goes into it, but I kind of feel like there is like a almost I don't know, like looser approach that one can kind of approach work they're less attached to. Whereas like something like this, I want it to be one of the best things I've done. So I think which is weird because I guess I kind of do that with clients. It's hard to explain, but my point is my personal work often will take much longer than my professional work. Depending on the professional work that I'm being hired to do. And then when there's these moments where personal and professional overlap, I always want to go like 5,000 times the extra mile just to like continue that trend, you know? Dee Dee said, "Is this the dad standing in front of the painting?" Yes, it is. He's standing in front of a portrait of a very young Elizabeth. Um, and I think it's going to be pretty impactful. Hopefully, when we get to it, like what happens there. I almost don't want to blow it if you didn't see the rough of it because it's a big story part. Okay, so we have but I do like the upcoming scenes that I'm penciling because it's like it is intense. Because the dad, let's just put it this way, like Elizabeth's dad was not super happy. Oh, let me make sure I have her handkerchief here. Okay, her handkerchief doesn't appear here. The paper does though. So let's just say the dad was not super happy about Elizabeth eloping with Robert Browning, who was of a lower station. And the dad was kind of hoping Elizabeth would marry like a very wealthy man. So you've probably seen what happens there. And then Dee Dee said that close up was kind of odd. How so? Oh, like the way I was zoomed in on it? Yeah. Or are you saying just the drawing in general? So we've got Oh, okay. Dee Dee said it looks good full shot. So it was just the way that I was zooming in. Awesome. That's good to know. I have had times where I've been working here and somebody will point out like a drawing error or something and I'll be like, "Oh my goodness," you know. So it's always good to hear your guys' feedback and stuff. But yeah, so I really like the whole sequence that's coming up because you have like just intense emotion, and I think Gary can like attest to this, but there's like scenes in writing where you're kind of building to like intense emotion, and it is so fun when you finally get there. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like I feel like when there's a lot of buildup, which there has been, you know, for me it seems like a lot of buildup. It's only 20 pages, which I've joked about this, but it's like in comic terms, when it comes down to it, you guys will read this, you know, everything I've worked on so far in probably about 2 minutes. Um, but for me, it feels like we've been kind of doing this long, drawn out build up, and finally we're getting to some action. Um, And then there's a really sweet scene after this that is just very meaningful for the characters and kind of gives you a little window into like her and Robert's relationship. And it's funny, but when I was working on it, I got a little choked up because it was just like very romantic and sweet. So you have like these two really big emotional scenes coming up, and I'm really excited about seeing them come to life, you know. And then Dee Dee said, "Yeah, we got her off her couch." Yeah, exactly. That's another thing. It's so nice to like finally have her off of the couch. And we'll get her further. We're going to get into some really fun other stuff too shortly. Come on. Okay. We're almost there, guys. I just have, I think, to do this. So I'm almost thinking my dogs are excited because my wife and kid are home. I think they went to Target on an adventure. And I think either they're home or my dogs think they're home. And that's when they kind of lose their marbles. So bear with me while my dogs are losing their marbles. Gary said, "I finally got to a location where basically the rest of the story, including the scariest and weirdest moments, takes place, and it feels good to be there." My old pug is just, he's kind of a lunatic. And again, my Wacom just keeps, like, I don't know what's going on with it. Like, I'm moving it, and it's like just laggy. Okay. But yeah, it always feels good to, like, in comics, like it's like watching a movie in very slow motion when you're making these things. So it's like, and as a writer artist, like, luckily this is a script by someone else that I'm working on, so it's like a little easier. But still, it's like you kind of feel like, oh man, I need to see these people get where they need to go. And so it's almost like watching a movie in slow motion where you're like, okay, I get it already. Can we move forward, please? I don't know. There's like a patience required to doing comics that I think sometimes is very hard to sit with because you just want to get to the fun pages. What is going on with my Wacom tablet? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to do a trick that I've done on stream before where I am having major issues with my Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is fill this, what I haven't selected, with magenta, if that will happen in the next century. And then I'm going to close out what I've got. Save it, of course. And then I'm going to restart Photoshop just to make sure. Dee Dee said, "Do you ever reboot the poor machine?" Usually. Today it's been on a little overload, so this I'm going to save too, just so we have those open. 21. And then 14. I'm going to just try restarting Photoshop first, and we'll see if that solves the issue. Maybe that'll help. And rather than making you guys wait through all of that, what I'll do is go ahead and put on the trailer for Jacob's apartment. Oh, wait, hold on. let's first go to Photoshop. Quit Photoshop. Oh my gosh, my computer is not in a good mood. It's taking this long to quit Photoshop, you guys. Okay. So now I'm going to put it on full, and then I'm going to play the trailer for Jacob's apartment while I reboot this thing, okay? So bear with me, and here is the trailer for Jacob's apartment. Speak clearly, it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen and walk around breathing I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams. All right, so here we go. And then we're going to, Jim said, please have someone pinch that painting so they can zoom in on the photo of your comic. I love it. All right, so let's see here. We have roughs. Okay. I'm going to reopen those roughs that we were looking at that I did save. And we'll just kind of hope to high hell that that solves the issue. Otherwise, I might have to just reboot, which is kind of a bummer because I already got the stream all set up and stuff, and I don't want to make you guys go to a different stream. So let's see if this works. Hey, that's opening a lot quicker. That's a good sign. Sometimes these computers get temperamental, and I definitely have been pushing my luck. And then it was page 14 that had the reference colors for the father. Yay, look at that. All right. Oh, and I just realized I need to be showing you guys that. So let's say window capture. Sorry, we're almost there. All right. Oh my goodness. That's interesting. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, it's window capturing to the wrong window capture. Okay, I'm going to just say turn off the visibility of this one. There it is. Let's turn that off and let's try this again. Okay, I have figured out OBS, you guys. Oh, Dee Dee said, did you hear about your scan yet? Okay, so I have some really good news regarding that. That like I said, the doctors said they were like 80 to 90% sure that it was like my gallbladder, and that there was a high likelihood that I would have to have my gallbladder removed, which is a little disconcerting to hear. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like I've known people who've had their gallbladders removed and stuff like that. But anyhow, turns out the the scan or whatever, like the ultrasound, they like, you know, put jelly all over you, and then like, you know, it's like the same thing they did with my wife where when she was pregnant. It's like they just rub you down with jelly, and then like they put this like scanner that looks oddly like a I mean, you guys have probably had them before, but it's like it looks kind of like a scanner at a checkout, like as if they're looking for a barcode or something. Insert some kind of Corey Kerr joke about the barcode and the internet and how like our whole society is gonna become a dystopian future. But anyhow, so I went and got that, and then like, yeah, everything looks good. The blood works good. So like the doctor and myself, we have no idea what caused it, because like by all description, it just sounded like what, you know, and the location and everything was like the section that you'd have like gallstones, and it just like sounded like gallstones. It sounded like that was the case. But so there's that weird relief that I feel, but also I know you guys have probably had this moment too where there's also like a little bit of embarrassment, because it's like I had kind of prepared myself. I'm like, okay, and you know, for like that inevitable thing, because it, you know, most of the time doctors are pretty, there's the family. Yeah, usually doctors don't say like, you know, they're like 80 to 90% sure of something. So that was the part where I was like, okay, I'd already prepared for it. So it's like, while I feel relief, I also have this really irrational part of me that's like, really? Well, then what the hell was that? You know? But I have to say, overall, I will take not having to have anything done over having to have something done. And 9 times out of 10, like anytime there's a health scare that could end up being like not a health scare. Oh, awesome. And my wife brought me Bravery Brewing, which is very exciting. I don't know if I've told you guys about this, but the Antelope Valley has a secret that like it is a weird town. It's full of a lot of like kind of not so great things and great things. But one of the best things about the Antelope Valley, we have the best microbrewery, just for flavor if you're into beer. And it's called Bravery Brewing. And that is what my wife literally brought home for me. So as I'm working on comics tonight, I might have a couple drinks. Who knows?
Oh, look what I got for my birthday.
Did you guys see that? It's from Hilda. It's the what are those called? They float around. Woofs. That's it. And that's from, I believe.
Doesn't matter how old you are. Stuffed animals are awesome.
Hell yeah. And that's from Benji's cousin. A very sweet gift from his cousin. And then we apparently also got a Plants vs. Zombies toy. But yeah, so anyhow, like I am not going to complain about having good health. Like, I guess the doctor said my heart's good, like my blood is good.
Your soul is evil.
He said my soul is evil, but other than that, like everything's good. He was just like, you just have, yeah. They did talk about, you know, like some kind of inner soul issue. Oh, Dee Dee just sent $20 and said happy belated birthday to Mai. Dee Dee, you are too generous. Thank you. I got to share that. That's awesome. Thank you, Dee Dee. And then Dee Dee also said hiya, Mai. Gary said, could you have had one that passed? I don't know, because I've heard people, I mean, it's possible. Like, so there's a couple things. Like, my wife changed up our diet a little bit, like during the interim, because she read some stuff about like what you should and shouldn't eat And I did start taking some vitamins that are good for your gallbladder and drinking more water. So I don't, that might be something to do with it. I don't know. I kind of think of it as like almost like a miracle. I know it's nerdy, but it's just like I rarely, like, I've never really had a doctor say they were like 90% sure of something and then it just didn't end up being that thing. Yeah. But anyhow, whatever it is, I will take it. I will take the good news. Okay. So we're getting there, you guys. We have finished the white selections, and I have a feeling this page, some of this is going to go different. This page will be different. This page will treat me well. It's the abusive relationship of comics. This comic said it cared about me, you know, right? No? But yeah, Dee Dee said, I believe in miracles. God is good. I do too. And I will take it. Like, I'm not a big believer in saying something's a miracle I can't prove was a miracle, but I can speculate, right? And in this case, it's like, I feel like that was a very, if the least of it would be like, you know, there was some grace there. That would be like yeah. So anyhow, I don't know. I'm excited about that news. Because that was, you know, again, like not a huge thing, but definitely not something I was looking forward to. So now we're deselecting some hair. That's what we like to do here, is take the hair and just deselect those chops. He's got crazy mutton chops too. So we're going to kind of deselect that business. What else can we do here? Okay, some hair. There's a younger kind of thing here. Oh, never mind. That's behind her head. So let's just deselect some hair. Let's just get through the guy first. So the scary thing is this is page 1 of 6 that I need to get done this weekend, hopefully. That's the one part that's slightly intimidating. But again, I think like all things are slightly possible.
I think this requires digital instructions.
Probable and possible are two different things. How is it going for you guys? Dee Dee, how are you doing? I think I saw Jim Lujan in there. How's it going? Dee Dee also mentioned that she read Gary's first book and kind of found it engrossing, and that's good. Gary is a really good writer. Yeah, a really good, like just great content on the stream too, Gary, today. It was fun to like listen back on. Now I'm forgetting the name of that the band that did Reunited, because I too, when I heard that, I was like, that can't be the Reunited song, because I just didn't, the name sounded like a band name that like Jim Lujan would come up with. Because what was it, like Peaches, and I can't remember. Anyhow, it was funny on the stream, because I definitely had a moment of like, that's weird, because I think that's that song, but I can't tell either. So no judgments there on the not catching that one, because I don't think I would have. But the name was really funny. It was like a very Lujan-esque, like it almost sounded like a Lujan animation title or something. Oh, peach is an herb. that sounds like a Jim Lujan. Jim said happy birthday, Mai, from Jim and Leanne.
The instructions are on Lego Mario.
She got a lot of Hilda themed stuff too.
This is the instructions are on Lego Mario. We can just download that.
So this is something my wife and I have had in common since we were dating. It's like we both are people who like we didn't really outgrow cartoons or children's entertainment and stuff, because that stuff is just awesome, and I will say, if you guys haven't watched Hilda on Netflix, you are sincerely missing out on some awesomeness. That show is incredible. And it's based on a series of graphic novels that are equally really great. I'm trying to, do you remember the artist's name? I can't remember the writer's name, but they're really good graphic novels too. And the show is really faithful to the comics. And I think the thing I like about it as a series is sometimes you see fantasy series that almost draw from it's Luke Pearson is the cartoonist behind it, but sometimes you'll see these and I'm trying to remember the publisher. The publisher is really cool too. They were at TCAF, those publishers, actually, the US version of it. But anyhow, so the thing I like about Hilda is it has its own flavor to it, whereas a lot of fantasy almost pulls from other really similar fantasy. It's got a look that's just definitely its own thing. It's very unique, and I like that a lot about that series. And my son digs it too, which is fun. It's always fun to have something that we all like. But it's also really fun storytelling and stuff. It's a little mythological. Definitely has a lot of trolls. The way they draw trolls in that is great too. Yeah, it's good stuff. But even the world building is really cool. I just dig it. I dig the hell out of it.
Mom, let's get your iPad, okay?
So hopefully we can get these flats knocked out.
I thought these instructions were actually explaining your how to actually do it.
So this is the dad is angrily ripping down the portrait of his own daughter. And if you guys hear music in the background, that is Benjamin singing away. Okay, I think we got the dad's face. Now we just need to get... I feel like there was a spot where we'd actually see some... Okay, here we go. I missed two color fills. One should be this.
Mom, I mean the actual app.
And
Mom, it's the actual app Lego Mario.
then one of these should be white. There's a little bit going on here. All right, so here we go.
I thought you meant look it up on that Safari.
I'm gonna go ahead and do his vest.
Look on the app.
But yeah, Gary, I'm excited to see that too because I think I've had a sneak peek. I'm not sure if I ever ended up getting to see the final script, but I had a sneak peek, and I have some rough ideas at least of some of the things coming in Dinosaurs versus Marsbots, and I think that is very exciting because honestly, there's just some parts that sound really dynamic and fun to draw coming up
Just the app Lego
that I think will excite fans of the comic.
Just look up Lego Mario.
And if I revealed any more,
Yeah, but I need that. But I need
I would be surrounded by like strange black helicopters that would just show up, and you would probably not hear from me again because Gary is already taking a huge risk revealing all this stuff about dinosaurs and Marsbots, but that is a risk that he can take. I think I'm gonna have the dad's shoes be the same color as his tie. He seems like a shoes same color as tie kind of guy. Yeah, that's true. If I revealed any bit of the plot, it would get like very Dinosaurs versus Marsbots 1997 on me pretty quick. Like if I even tried, I think I'd suddenly find myself having like a strange acid trip and not sure why like everything fell to chaos after the fact. That's still one of my favorite series of panels that Gary's done in 97. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's gory, but it's fun, you know. It's like even that was cool because like the whole paneling sequence too is like you can tell the person's literally just tripping, like their brain is just mush. Yeah, anyhow. But yeah, point being, Gary, I would be excited too to get to those parts because they just, you know, and I'm sure some of it's revised since that like first iteration of the script, but it's like it's just going to be exciting. Basically, Gary's going to have Thomas Kinkade appear and paint happy Marsbots. I'm sorry, Gary. I didn't mean to reveal it. I couldn't keep the secret. I had to reveal. The tie-in with Thomas Kinkade. Did I say Thomas Kinkade? Oh my gosh. I think I did say Thomas Kinkade and Happy Little Clouds. So now I'm it's a mashup. It's a giant mashup between Bob Ross and Thomas Kinkade. Like they both got kidnapped by aliens and the aliens just kind of like, have you guys seen Mars Attacks? It's like in Mars Attacks, what happens with like the dog, like the lady and her dog, where they just put her head on the dog. It's like that, but it's just they did that with Bob Ross and Thomas Kinkade to make like a super mall painting guy. Gary, if you want me to write that spinoff of DVSM, I can do it. I mean, I know for those of you who've read Gary's work, this definitely sounds in line with the tone and theme. Oh, I would love that. Oh, and then Jim was saying, are you talking about Peaches and Herb? So Jim knew the name because I was just saying that sounds like a Jim Lujan cartoon. Like Peaches and Herb just sounds like the title of a Jim Lujan cartoon. Like you'd have like Peaches and Herb belong on the same, like back in the Blockbuster video days, you would look and you'd see like cherries in the snow, and then you'd see like Peaches and Herb like right next to it. I do like Gary's theme here where he said there has to be an indie comic where Bob Ross and Thomas Kinkade go on a road trip and fight crime. I love it. I love it. That needs to happen.
Awful stuff. Awful this. Yes. Oh, what's it?
I mean, and the great thing is, like, you could do it in probably like a copyright safe way because you just draw a painter who happens to look a bit like Bob Ross. And I know his image is really well controlled, but it's like if you just don't mention that it's Bob Ross, you know, it could be any painter with just like a big afro who talks about, you know, regulating emotions and stuff. And that's how he fights bad guys, is he regulates his emotions, you know? I don't know. I'm trying here, guys.
I know, but I'm just going to awful it.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to irritate you. Anything else?
Getting in bar fights with bikers. I love it. Thelma and Louise versus Bob and Thomas Kinkade. Yeah, we gotta come up with an alternate, like, goofy comic book publisher that just puts out all of our crazy ideas from streams. All right, so Bob squares off with a Hell's Angel. Friend, he says, I won't say you made a mistake, but it's a big effing happy accident. Oh, that's so good. So we're getting there, guys. We're gonna get this this here comic knocked out and done. I am pretty happy with this dad, like this balding dad character. He's been fun to draw. So we're almost there on this coat. Is that the last panel with the coat? Nope. One more coat. It's kind of insane that flats take this long, you know? But it's all possible. It's all possible, you guys. Happy accidents. All right. We have his jacket, and now we just need to get his pants. Oh, we didn't get his whole jacket. Hang on. Okay, now let's get his pants. Pants are gonna happen. Dee Dee said you gave the dad some personality, his movements. Yeah, I was trying to like have him real animated in this scene. It almost has to be like a vaudevillian kind of thing. I don't know if you hear my son in the background, but he's singing a very cool song saying blah. Pretty awesome. Let it singing. Okay. Now we got to get some pantalones here. I don't know. I feel like Gary, if you and I wrap our comics around the same time, we should do like a just crazy romp of comedy. Like it should be like all of the crazy stream ideas just mixed together. We could have the kayaking bear. We could have Bob Ross and Thomas Kinkade as side characters. We could have Victorian jet ski guy. We could have Captain Anarchy. We could have all of these. I feel like we've built a pretty solid cast here. I'm going to grab that blue for the black on this character. But first, are we at the hour mark? Oh my goodness, we've hit the hour mark. All right, so before we do that, we're going to do this. I am glad I didn't have to reboot my whole computer because that would have been, I think, a little difficult. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save where I'm at, and then I will be right back. We showed the... Dee Dee said the pages always look so cool when the coloring's done. Thank you, Dee Dee. And then she said maybe Gary and Jim don't think the process is as cool as I do since they make comics, but I don't do them, so it's fun for me to watch. Yeah, and I think, like, you know, because you do art, though, it's like, you know, you can see a window into, like, how it's done, you know? And I'm sure, like, I think, Dee Dee, if you tackled it, you could do it. It's just a lot of work. But I could see it in your wheelhouse of capability. All right, so here is the trailer for Two Stories. I'm going to be back with a refill of my coffee and a new sense of purpose in life. And here's the goal. I want to try to finish these these flats in an hour. That would be ideal. So, okay, here we go. All right, so we're back, and now we have a ton of stuff to do. So I was gonna pick the same black as his shoes, like it's actually a blue, but I think that'll be a good tone for her kind of sweater thing. This is Annabelle, who looks a crap load like Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And so, because they're going to have similarities in their appearance, like I'm using the quick trick of like making their hair color slightly different. One advantage to having color that you cannot do in black and white. So these bands, I almost want the belts too to be this color, but I think that's going to need to be a little different because there's a lot of overlapping. The other thing is like this kind of collar thing is definitely part of this jacket, and it's the same tone. Very strange Victorian outfits, but kind of cool. What'd be fun is if we put this out and then people like cosplay it as characters where I'm like, hey. I actually wonder, Gary, have you ever thought about that? Like how cool it would be if people like cosplayed as like characters from DVSM? Oh, cool. Just microwaved some coffee. I had the coffee maker off because it's at that like magical last point that basically is like the bane of everyone who's worked in an office's existence. I know everybody's had that moment where you work at an office, you have a shared coffee machine or something, and there's just like maybe half a cup of coffee left there and they didn't wash it, but they turned off the pot, and you're like, ah. Anyhow, that's where this was at. So I was like, I'm going to microwave those dregs of coffee because I need all the caffeine I can consume. One thing I learned at the ultrasound, because like you have to fast before you do an ultrasound. And then I called before the fast because I'm like a definite caffeine addict. And I was like, hey, can I have coffee? And they're like, no. And I was like, that doesn't count as clear liquid. And they were like, no. But then when I had my ultrasound, do not quote me on this because I am not a medical expert, okay? But when I had it, the tech was like basically saying, she's like, if you just drink your coffee black, like, yeah, it's not going to mess up an ultrasound. And I was like, oh. Now, would I take that as gospel? No, because that was the one tech working the ultrasound. And maybe like the next time the tech would be like, sorry, no, we gotta do this another time. But I thought that was kind of neat. And I actually heard, like, once again, I've heard this a bunch from people that like one of the most dangerous things in coffee is all the cream and sugar, but just like black coffee is actually fairly healthy. And speaking of black coffee, my coffee is ready, so I will go get it after I finish selecting this section, because this would be an awkward space to step away in. But I thought that was kind of a neat little fact. Like, I didn't realize it. Some people do view black coffee as just like a clear liquid, and then some don't. But I thought that was an interesting little fact. Yeah, Gary was saying I'd love it if there were DVSM cosplayers. And keep in mind, I want to clarify to listeners, I said DVSM, not BDSM, okay? Because that kind of cosplay already exists. But Dinosaurs versus Marsbots cosplay would be awesome, right? It would just be cool to see. And he said he'd like to see more Dinosaurs versus Marsbots fan art. That would be fun. I would love to do some fan art. I did some for Scott a long time ago that are actually going to be covers, which is kind of exciting after he runs his Kickstarter. So I will definitely be mentioning when that Kickstarter is up, because I know that Gary and a couple other special guests are doing guest covers, and that's pretty exciting, and it's very flattering and awesome. But initially I just did that as like a birthday present for Scott, and it was so fun to kind of like use somebody else's characters for a little bit. It's almost freeing in a way, because you're you know, I don't know, you almost can take more liberties with another character rather than your own. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm gonna have, we'll do her, I'm gonna do her mouth first. Just a little bit of saturation. And I'm trying to slam through these as quickly as possible because I have 5 other pages I need to get done this weekend. In theory, we'll see how it goes. But right now I kind of still have some of that little engine that could kind of stuff happening where I'm like, I think I can. So who knows? Who knows if that'll work?
Your coffee, ADHD.
Thank you. My wife just brought me my coffee. That was very sweet of her.
I heard you say something.
Yeah, I'm loading, but now it's asking for your birthday is 2013, right?
Landon said he's going to have a 48-minute video of him doing an oil painting of Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Cool. That's exciting, man.
No, it's 2013. Right?
So I think that we're going to have some pretty awesome progress on this, like once this selection is done. The thing that's going to take the longest on this page is going to be his office, which I don't think will take that long to flat. And then these paintings. It's mainly going to be the paintings that take a while.
We don't have Lego Mario.
Oh.
Let's close that. I'm the one who's searching for it set.
I might also end up color holding the mirror. Like there's a mirror in the room that I think might look good with a color hold, but we'll just have to see how it looks when it's flatted at first. And then kind of go from there. Do 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 do.
Let's start with making this.
I feel like it's one of those things where Landon said his videos take like 2 hours to render. Yeah, I used to do a lot of much more kind of edited videos early on. And one of the reasons I took to live streaming was that I found myself like a lot of the time spending more time editing my videos than I would on art. And it was just one of those things where I was like, it almost seemed like pretty unsustainable. It was like, do I want to be a video artist or do I want to be an artist? So I ended up kind of like opting to do more live streams, but I do appreciate, because of that experience, I very much appreciate people who do like really slick edited videos, because it's just insanely time consuming. Even for my vlogs, it's like quite often I'll put them on. I put a little bit of music in the background. I might cut out like a little part here or there, but it's like very quick and dirty editing, because just editing is just it's a ton of work. But it's also worthwhile, I think, when you do it. So it's definitely one of those things, you know. I want her to have kind of brownish hair. I also missed the selection on her. That's much better. I think that's a good tone. I missed the selection on her face up there, so we're going to go ahead and take care of that problem real quick. But I think that kind of works as like a in between, because Elizabeth has really dark hair.
You should text Lavender and make sure it's okay that color.
Well, it's already got some backing, and I think I can justify it. And honestly, like a hair color change, if worse comes to worse, is not going to take 10 years, because that's just a color choice. It's pretty easy to fix. So we have some things going on here. I'm kind of digging this. It's almost like a muted color palette that's a little Alice in Wonderlandish. A little darker, but it's the blues and the outfit, I think, that are making me think that. Okay, we're deselecting some hair color, guys. We're going to get there. We're going to slam through this page. But yeah, I wonder if Jim gets that with cartoons sometimes. Like, I can imagine there's got to be parts of his animation where he's just like, I cannot wait to get to this one part. And then he has to kind of slog through like the buildup to get to the part he really wants to see. I mean, obviously, everything as creators that we're building, we want to see. But there's got to be that point where you're just like, oh, man, can I just get to that whatever scene yet? You know, there's definitely those moments, at least. But I also think that's one of the things that's addictive about the process, because it feels really cool to like work really hard and then finally get to a good action scene or a good payoff in a plot. And hopefully, you know, I think, you know, this is a belief of mine, but I do tend to think that if you're invested and you're kind of feeling it, that's a much better sign that like your audience will have a similar kind of take. I remember when I used to teach illustration students, one of the hard things to get them to translate that I think once they understood, like their work would level up, was the idea that like, if you're not that into this thing, why should they be? Like that kind of question, you know, where you're like, I mean, you're never going to feel fully good about your work, but you know, like I would have students sometimes that you'd ask like, hey, what's this right here? And they'd be like, I actually don't know. And it's like, well, then why would somebody who looks at this know? Like, it's a hard thing to kind of teach people to like start translating. But I think some of it is like, you kind of do have to care about what you're working on, I think. to find a way to carry it. It's one of the challenges of doing commercial art, you know, where even if it's not super interesting, let's say you're doing like a advertisement for like a plumbing company or something, you have to find what it is about that plumbing company that's so exciting that you can kind of make something cool for them. Because if you're not feeling it, like, why would anyone else, you know? Now, I don't think that's always the case. There might be, you know, definite cases where you make something and you're like, I don't know why people like this, and they just do, right? Those definitely happen, but I do tend to think that's a good fail-safe. Like, if you're invested, it's going to be easier to have other people get invested. It's kind of like if you go to a car dealership and somebody's selling a car really hard and well, and then you peek at the car they drive and they don't drive the same kind of car they're selling, you're like, that's a little weird, you know? Whereas if they literally like believe in the car that they're selling so much that they drive it, I don't know. I think sometimes that makes a difference. Yeah, Gary was saying, yeah, I only do edited videos when I'm not in drawing mode. It's too time consuming. Yeah, I think it's like it's also like a different mode, and it definitely is a creative. It is a creative thing to do. I mean, you almost have to go into like director mode or something. Some tears, you guys. Some tear color here. My tears, my tears. All right. All right. I want her to have. What the heck? Okay, I think we're getting closer. These are coming together. What color should the skirt be? First off, let's make the belts the same color as the dad's pants, just to kind of get some color symmetry going here. I just realized technically that's a Victorian black belt. So for our Victorian alternate Victorian story, you could have like a Victorian black belt that just looks like a regular belt, but you know, also the person happens to be like an expert in the martial arts. Okay, so I think I want to have. I think that belt buckle only needs like 2 fills. I think Benji is hunting for a
This one is upside down.
do.
I don't see it anywhere in here. It only goes to open back number 2.
I think Benji's building a Lego set and he can't find one of his Legos, which is always hard. Don't worry, Ben, you'll find it, buddy. What color?
Oh, it's this one. Oh, yay! Good. Ooh.
Okay, that's going to be the color. I want to kind of keep her in blues because I'm thinking of making the hallway and kind of like maybe some warmer colors. Jim said, I recorded your dogs during this live stream and will use them as a sound effect in my next film. Is that okay? Yeah, of course, dude. I don't think your dogs are gonna I mean my dogs are gonna have an issue with barking. In fact, the next time like they're barking, being in one of your videos would probably make them very happy. The next time they bark, if you want to record it, you can just chime in the chats and be like, dude, Josh, I need some peace and quiet while I record this amazing track of your dogs barking. And then I'll be quiet so you can get a good cut of it. Okay. We're getting very close now. Very, very close. Very close there. I do like this as the just generic background in these sequences. Last panel, done. All right, guys. Let me see. Okay, let's get a little further. I was gonna sneak out for a second, but I think I need to get a little further. What color did I have the floor? I think the floor was like this green. See if we can kind of keep that for the interior of the dad's place.
All right, and then throw out whatever's.
Now, I think a lot of this interior for his place is going to be very much like woods, like different tones of wood. But I like that for like kind of the carpety thing so that the tile can kind of have a different vibe. Awesome.
Mom, is dinner gonna be casual?
Yes.
Thanks.
So we're going to do, I like the idea of the door being kind of its own thing. The doors in this house are probably going to have similar vibes and colors. Let's see if I like the idea of this kind of crazy ornate frame having the same sort of tone of wood as like the kind of crazy ornate framework that was in the other room. Because this is like a big kind of faux filigree thing that's like in front of the hallway. And then we're going to do our deselecting here. I think there's one more area where we're going to see this kind of archway. That's going to be here. Okay. Got our archway. That's good. Let's see, did I have a tone for the door? No. This can be some of the hallway tone though. So I'm going to save this.
Mom, can I please have dinner here? What now? May I please have dinner here? Yeah. Thank you so much.
Trying to kind of deselect some of this wall. Finish these flats so that I can go eat dinner, but that's now my new incentive to finish these flats.
I really hope it's not like this. Oh, wait. I know this is-
So I know this seems kind of like a long process, but it should start to speed up and pick up as the final process kind of gets closer and closer. In theory, it should kind of go quicker as we go. That is in theory. And reality, we'll have to just kind of see. I like the idea that maybe the trim is going to be a different color too. So we'll kind of maintain that. Let's see how far we can get.
This really is a real.
And here we go. We've got some of this starting to happen. Should make for quicker flats when we get to them. All right. And we are getting closer and closer. So now I'm going to do that magenta trick. And that way we can kind of see how much further we have. So we're getting closer. All right. I'm going to put on the Dee Dee made a little dog icon in response to Jim's comment about our dogs being the soundtrack for his on the soundtrack for his next cartoon. All right, so I'm gonna put the trailer for Jacob's apartment up, and then I will be right back, and we're gonna keep going until these flats are done. Come hell or high water. Speak clearly, it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen and walk around breathing pain. I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams. All right. Back at it. Flatting some walls. It's kind of the fun of coloring comics is like when you're a cartoonist, you're kind of everything. In a weird way, it's like you even become like a house painter. I'm happy with the gesture of this dad character, though. I feel like you really feel his anger at this moment, and that's a fun thing to kind of cartoon, honestly.
Ooh. I this got good.
Okay. Now we have this kind of moment of movement, which may or may not have a color hold at the end, depending. I don't know. I think we might have to leave it as lines. But we'll just have to see what we end up with here. Okay, so we have our wall color all blocked in. Now I think it's time to do the desk. Maybe that desk color is a different kind of wood. That's a good color for the doorknob. But I also feel like that's a good color for his desk. Although I want the inside of his desk, it's like one of those 2 wood things. So I want like the very top of his desk is going to have a different wood than the rest of it. The rest of it is like this kind of more orangey color. Again, I want that warmth, like that kind of orange, to go against a lot of the blues in the main composition. Similar here, the trim is this orange. We might be able to kind of play with that orange for the downward trim here. I missed some of the wall under her arm that we're going to have to come in and adjust. So if I forget that and you guys are still watching, just give me a heads up and be like, Josh, the trim. Fix the trim, dude. I also feel like I should have this be that wall trim too. Jim, you might have more sound effects coming. Never mind. I thought the dogs were about to have a little bark session. All right, we got our trim here. I know it's nerdy that, like, you know, a lot of people would just like break for lunch at this point, but it's like a really good incentive because I'm actually pretty hungry. So right now, that hunger is going to drive me to get this page done. And as strange as it is, like, you use whatever tricks you can to kind of psychologically get yourself further on this art stuff. Deselect some of this trim. I'm going to have the roof actually be that same kind of color. Okay. Now I want to do some wall fixes. There's a couple of areas of the wall that I missed. I think we can kind of correct. So let's get that taken care of. I'm going to have this. There's another area of wall that I feel like I missed, but I think we got it all now. Oh, there it is. Eat and drink water to keep your stomach okay. I will, Dee Dee, I will. I'm going to eat and drink pretty soon, actually. I just need to finish this page. Okay, here we go. Because it's already almost 6, and in theory, I need to do 2 more pages today, ideally. We'll see if that can happen. But that would be cool if it could. All right, so I'm going to do his desk. Discluding some of the stuff that's on it. Like that. Kind of like the idea of maybe the clock could have this thing, but I don't want the face of the clock to have this color. So I want it to almost go to here, and then maybe that clock face can go to like a different tone. Okay. We're getting closer. Oh, there's the one spot. I actually don't mind that. Just to tone it back, the clock. Okay. Now we got some other colors to choose. Okay. Okay, I kind of like this as a gold. And that's going to be the picture frames. As well as the frame on that mirror. And I think outside of the frame for that mirror, well, we're going to have quite a bit to do. We're getting there. We're getting closer. Okay, we're getting a lot closer. Quite a lot closer. Okay, let's see. Okay. I like the idea maybe this clock is gold. It just seems like a kind of Victorian thing to rock. A gold clock.
The ice cream scooper by the tomatoes.
And we're going to do something a little different in a second, but I have to kind of figure it out. Okay. Okay. Get the mirror color. And I want the mirror to be just a little less saturated, a little lighter. And then the mirror back here.
Mom, get this in my mouth.
Okay, take 2 bites then. A little one or a bigger one?
Dee Dee said, "Oh, I just noticed the reflection in the mirror." Yeah, it's kind of a subtle thing. Hopefully it won't be super noticeable. I totally missed one of the frames. One of the most important frames. is going to be this one. Let's get back to that. It's funny, my son is watching or playing Mario, and I can hear it, the music from Mario, and I have to say that was the peak of my experience gaming as a kid. And so anytime I hear like the Mario themes, they're so programmed in my psyche that it just makes me feel happiness. As weird as that is, there's something about those Nintendo Mario games that just fills me with nostalgia and joy. Okay. Now we're going to figure out how we want to do the carpet. I think I want it to be like almost like a red. That might be a little much. I think a red would really, if we go with like a red, let's find out. I'm not sure if a red's going to do it. Or if it's more of a tile kind of scenario where
I need help.
no, I kind of like the idea of a red. So let's see if we can find one that kind of fits
My mouth finished.
this palette.
Little bites first. You're 8 years old. Don't be afraid to get a little messy then. You can always wipe it off later, okay?
Okay. I think that's what I want to do. I think I just need to tile the floor. So now we're going to tile the floor. Did I do that correctly? I think I have. Okay, now I understand where I am. I like lost track of the tile for a second there. I think we've got it back. We can kind of proceed accordingly. Whew. All right, let's see what we can do here. Similar thing. We're just going to go ahead and deselect some of this stuff. Getting there, you guys.
Hey,
I know more, but I thought yours was bigger than that.
wait, what's just going?
There we go. 2 more.
What is it?
We got to go with one more. One more. Okay. Then we just have to do one more after that, and I think we're good.
Just trying to get the food.
I thought I was trying to eat a Lego piece.
Hey,
Ah,
Oh no, not the painting. Okay. Got to kind of select those painting parts that got deselected, because we definitely didn't want to deselect those. Okay. I'm going to have to check my messages too. It seems like I got a call from overseas, so it'll be interesting to see if that was junk mail. Or a junk call, a spam call. Who knows? All right, so here we go. And we'll just do one more little trick with that. Not sure if we want to go darker or lighter. I think darker might be better, but I'd like to go a little more orange. I think darker was the better route.
Mom? Oh, never mind.
Cool.
Never mind.
Kind of like that for the floor color. Again, like maybe I'll shift it if I change my mind later. But for now, I'm pretty happy with that. And we're almost there. We basically just have to do the last remaining difficult parts, which is the office and then the paintings. So let's take care of the office real quick, and then we'll get the paintings done. So the office, I think I want to have most of this. I think should be maybe like darker, maybe a little more kind of on the reddish side, like a deeper wood. That'll be a good point to have this sort of backing.
Dude, Mom. Chill.
Ben, don't talk to your mom like that, dude.
I'm gonna chill after you eat it.
Oh, you have a napkin there.
All right, so and we're just going to focus strictly on this room right now and just kind of getting that completed. Kind of like the idea of these being sort of here.
This is not missing page.
And then I think
We'll cry.
some of
That's
this
my
too.
favorite villain. It's kind of sympathetic. Oh my gosh, I kind of love this subject. He's adorable.
Okay. We're getting there.
Let's
Actually
get
looked at the bottle though. Very dressed as a sidekick. Brought the right one. Whoa.
So we're sort of selecting the chandelier thing.
Mom,
Selecting the candles.
Wow. Upsetting. I know, that's not a lot of food. You get that. Then, look, if you want to keep building that set, you need to eat while you build it. Or the set has to go away. Okay? But you need to eat that food. You can't not eat dinner. That's not okay. Lean over your plate. That might help you from spilling on yourself.
So I'm trying to think if we want to go with something a little lighter, like maybe it's almost, I almost like it as white, but I feel like it needs to be a little bit more, or we go darker with like less saturation. Maybe more on that. I actually kind of like this. That kind of creates more of a contrast. I'm going to go with that. Okay, so now all we have left is our... Yeah, I'm really liking the look here. It's looking pretty good. So we have a couple things left. And I'm going to go ahead and put on the trailer, the Christmas trailer. And then we'll get into doing these portraits. And that's all we have left on this page, which is very cool. And then I'll be breaking for dinner, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and save. I'll put on the trailer for 2 stories, and then we're going to finish these portraits up. And yeah, it's actually coming along. So I'm excited. Okay. Let me go ahead and put on the trailer for the Christmas trailer for 2 stories. And I will be shortly back, and we'll finish up this page.
Just a scientist.
Yeah, he was a nice scientist guy.
Okay, so I'm going to actually grab these portraits so we don't constantly have to like bounce back and forth from one to another. I think this is going to help a lot in the coloring process. So I don't constantly have to keep referencing the actual historical portraits. We can kind of knock them out. So first thing I'm going to do is go here, and we're going to do our, let's do these as white for the strings, or should the strings be a different color? I think white works for the string, although that might be a little too obvious. So you know what? We're going to pick like a more of a gray tone. So hang on a sec. Let's pick up, it's funny how saturated color has to be when you're working with heavy blacks like this. And that's actually a pretty good thing to realize. Like, you have to kind of saturate the crap out of stuff to have it kind of sing under heavy black color. Just a good thing to remember. All right, I'm going to make the string like this off kind of gray. Which will come in handy as we start sort of coloring. Okay. I want to color Elizabeth a little bit of a mix between this and the color she's been in the comic, just as like a subconscious thing. But let's pick the tone for the pegs first. Maybe the pegs are like a little bit yellower. A little bit more yellow. Okay. Pegs taken care of. Okay, so now we can actually get into this. So there's only one scene where we're seeing that portrait, the one of the Browning children, or the Barrett children, I should say. Browning children haven't come into existence yet in this plot.
Try this one again. I'll go for him.
So I'm going to kind of deselect this red. And I'm going to see if there's other paintings where this red could kind of come into play, so we have like some coherence in color. I feel like Elizabeth's portrait definitely has some red going here.
No, I can't. I cannot fix it. Mom.
Yes.
On this app, when I was doing a preview, I accidentally made it so that I couldn't actually see the bricks I needed. And now I can't fix it.
Can't you start from the beginning again?
Look
through it?
hard. And this is making me have to.
Sometimes you have to do that. It's frustrating, but that's the way to solve it.
Okay.
At the very beginning, this is not solving it.
So maybe go back to the main.
It's not a Lego piece, Mom.
Benjamin, you don't get to yell at your mom. You need to be, no, you need, I understand, you need to be calm and respectful to your mom.
Something fall down? Oh, look, it says that he missed a step and now he doesn't know what to do. No, but he doesn't know what parts he's supposed to use now.
So he had a mistake on his app, but it's just, I didn't want him yelling at his mom because that's not okay. Let's see here. He's a good kid in general, though, just so you guys know.
This is not it. Oh wait, where's the star?
Okay, so we have our red.
That's just as far as I got. That's just as far as I got. But I can't fix this.
Now let's do this kind of brown, like this deep brown.
No.
No? What are you trying to fix? Here, why don't you turn
I'm
this
trying
so that it actually looks the same as the picture? That might help you visualize it a little better.
No, I'm trying to fix that I cannot see the list of pieces I need up here. I can't see the list.
Oh, settings. Brick preview?
I already tried that. That's not it.
Okay, let's try those.
Neither of those are it. See?
Oh. Oh, does it usually show you what it looks like? Like it shows the pieces?
It usually shows the pieces you need.
Oh,
So-
oh, I see.
Here we go.
It shows you the pieces you need in this corner, but I accidentally made it so I can't. And now I cannot fix it.
Maybe.
I already tried closing and reopening. It didn't fix anything.
Oh, it didn't? Okay, I'm sorry. Where are you?
Okay, so we have that brown. Now we need to do a little bit of brown hair.
Okay, so it's showing two of these.
It only shows you what pieces that you need to use at the beginning of the step.
Sure. That's okay. Just take the
All right, so let's see where the hair is here on this painting. Okay, it seems like, yep.
You want to uninstall and reinstall it?
No! That's not what he said.
So this is going to be the ground plane of this same thing.
Mom, the big problem is it's not
Dee Dee said, looking good, Josh. Gotta run. We'll try to get back if you continue later. Yeah, I'm probably going to be working late into the night. So we will see.
Listen, this is still a very big problem. I think this is permanent. Mom!
Benjamin, you need to stop having an attitude with your mom.
Mom, I know.
I might have to go in a second just to like take care of what's going on here. Okay, I guess we're good. So, let's see here.
So now you need to green pieces.
I'm missing.
Yeah.
I'm missing.
But it shows you here.
I know. I want to be here.
We'll see. I think they have it handled. He's just having a bit of a meltdown over his iPad. So that's kind of what's going on in the background. Gary said, I also need a break for some food. I'll look for you later. Yeah, I'll see you guys tonight. And let's see here.
You don't think it will just start with you and then you can just keep that settings?
We're going to see if this matches.
That's frustrating. You like the instructions the way they
No,
were
that's
before,
not
huh?
one.
That's the one I deleted, so let me put it back.
No. This is the one.
That's the one I just chose.
Well, I thought I do selected this one.
All right. So we're getting closer. We have one done. In retrospect, I think that I need to change this color to white because it's just blending too much now. So we'll do that.
Oh, yeah, but
I think we're going to do... Okay, now we need to handle Elizabeth's portrait. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I need to get that red back.
I want this fixed.
The one you know, Ben, if it doesn't vote that way, if it still doesn't let you, you're gonna have to accept and work with what you have. If that's not, if it doesn't, you vote. Okay, it is loading again, okay? Alright, sometimes things don't work the way you want them to, but you have to find a solution. Okay? Instead of just getting upset.
And the
Solution would be working with the chart
let's try the
as it's highlighting.
belt here. That's also going to be red.
Don't put pieces in your mouth, and they're very small. They end up in your throat. It's just
Mom, this piece is not separate from this.
And we'll do our belt as red here. Okay, I think I want to actually pull some colors for Elizabeth's portrait, not just from her portrait. So I'll get the background, but I think for her skin tone and her hair, I'm going to copy it from something else.
It doesn't mean you can't build it, right?
It's just a different way of instructions.
Oh, it doesn't work anymore, all right? Getting upset and yelling at everybody isn't gonna help. Okay?
I'm just yelling at you guys because of this disorder.
I understand that, but
So we have almost got the portrait done.
Look for something that says entryway. Look for something that says entryway. Look for something that says entryway.
And I think the portrait's going to get done pretty soon.
Videos.
Okay. Now I need to pull some of that from Elizabeth. So I'm going to open page 14 again, and I'm just going to copy her skin tone and her hair. Because I want her hair to hopefully be slightly recognizable. It's a much younger Elizabeth in these portraits, but
And no, I don't have like a Mario or Luigi, or Lego Luigi.
You're on number 2, right?
I'm on this set.
Okay, let's click on that one and just hope that it keeps it. Just take your time, okay?
We need to make a start. That's all I did.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Now don't touch that and hopefully it won't delete again, okay?
Da 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 da. Well, so silly.
okay, we're almost there.
Can you hit the remote?
Now we just need to have this and then her lip color. Now at least that's going to get us a little closer to kind of done here.
Yes.
CB Smallwood said, apparently the guy in the bottom doesn't like paintings. Not of his daughter who just eloped with a man that he disapproved of. She has basically made a choice to marry Robert Browning, and we see on the top right panel there's like a letter where Elizabeth has explained this. So he reads the letter, and then the dad furiously goes to the to their hallway of like Victorian portraits and proceeds to destroy the portrait of his daughter. And you know, we'll find out more in the plot, but basically he is kind of disowning his daughter at this point. The tough part is the portrait that it seems most likely of Elizabeth with which he is doing this doesn't look a whole ton like Elizabeth. So it's weird because it's like a much younger Elizabeth. So hopefully that'll translate. We'll see what they say. And we're going to do our thing here. But yes, he's definitely not happy with the portrait of his daughter at all at this point. Kind of mad about it. And let's see, it's going to be brown, white, and brown. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. I think for the sake of this reading, it might be better to just have it be kind of like a light brown. Yeah, he's not in a good mood about his daughter going in a loop. And back in the day when you were in like a class system, you know, it's like that was a very big deal, you know. Something you just kind of didn't do unless you were Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And also her father was kind of a controlling jerk, so. All right. So there we go. I don't know about this floor, and I also don't know about how saturated that green came out. So I'm going to go ahead and fix the green just a little bit, and then we're going to continue. So let's pick the green first. Oh, put continuous back on. Let's pick that green. It's just too like Christmassy. It needs to be more muted and then a little darker. I think more muted, maybe a little lighter actually. There we go. Much better. So there we go. Whew. We've gotten there, you guys. One portrait done. I thought, or so I thought. Hang on. We're almost there, guys. I also am not sure about the floor, so we might have to kind of modify the floor. But I think we're getting there. Okay, floor might come next as like a modification, but we'll just kind of have to see. The mom should be pretty quick, so let's do that. So we'll finish that part of the painting at least. So we have our hair kind of adjustment going there. And then we were going to do just a really standard back there. Which actually makes the red of the floor work a little better, having like some red up there. But I still don't know about the red of the floor. We'll have to play with it.
Missing a piece. Oh, and then Bendy's one. No, maybe you have one in other room. Stand up, let's see if it can fall on you. No? Okay.
Okay. Now we're gonna do just kind of more generic background here.
May, May help my stomach hurts really bad. Help you with what? Help him? Yeah, okay.
So then we're gonna do this. One more painting, you guys, and then I'm gonna maybe play with the floor again because I'm not sure about the floor as well as that background. Still not sure about the background in his office or the floor color.
You didn't lose it?
I don't remember it. Nope.
It is
Well,
definitely almost time to finish up this page.
what are these? They're separate.
CB Smallwood said, I like the drabby colors, kind of got a Stanley Kubrick vibe. Yeah, I'm trying for it. You know, I'm trying for very like muted tones to kind of create, especially because when we get to Casa Gaidi, it's going to be a lot more bright. So the whole point of this sequence is to kind of have it be like this somewhat depressing sort of scenario. CK. My dog is now barking for no reason. So there you go, Jim, if you needed some dog sound effects. Not quite sure. Not sure what he's barking at. That's the weird part. I'm really not sure. CK. He just sometimes kind of gets stuck in loop. He's a much older dog. So he'll just get this idea in his head. All right, so here we go, and we've got maybe that. I think that actually works. That's starting to tie it together. So I'm not sure about this floor. So I want to mess with the floor tiles just to see if a different tone is going to work better. If maybe even just going totally light with it. Let's just see if any of this works better. Man, that dog is going to drive me nuts. You know, I kind of like the red. I just maybe think that we just need to be a little more bold with the other tile. So maybe the lighter tile is just a little bit lighter and a little less saturated. Maybe a little more on the orange tone. And then I think that I'm not sure about this part either. All right, you guys. I think just a little bit brighter maybe works. So I'm going to call that done for this page. There's one last step, which is usually like we'll take this, multiply it. That kind of makes the colors pop a little more. And I think we're going to call this done. So I'm going to go ahead and print a copy because I always keep a copy for myself. And then I'm going to save, and then I'm going to get to penciling the next page. And oh, you know what? There's one other thing. Darn it. Never mind. I shouldn't have printed it yet. I need to copy this part. Let's see. I would like to copy this crack part. Okay, so that is going to do it. That's the one last step I needed to do. So thanks to everybody who's tuned in. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications when we're about to go live. I should be coming back on in a little bit. I'm going to go eat and then take more photo references and draw the next page. And hopefully, I don't know, fingers crossed, maybe by 2 in the morning, I'll be able to have finished 2 more of these. I don't know. We'll see. It's ambitious, but who knows? It might be possible. All right. See you guys on the next live stream. And thanks for tuning in. And yeah, thanks to everybody who came on the chats and stuff earlier and for the super chat. That was really nice. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. Bye.